Well, last weekend, a lot of us made New Year's resolutions, and this weekend, a lot of us might already be having trouble keeping those resolutions. That's why we've asked mental toughness coach Steve Siebold to join us. Thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks, Tina.
Well, now, I read your book. You have a book on mental toughness, and one of the things that I got from this is that you don't actually seem like that big a fan of the idea of New Year's resolutions. You kind of want people to make changes, not just this time of year.
Right, you want to make a serious commitment. I think most of us kind of make these lists on right before we go to the New Year's Eve party, 2 hours before, and it's really a big decision. So I think it's got to be a serious commitment.
But I guess making any change to say you want to better yourself is something that people should be doing, and I guess we can applaud that effort.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good for all of us. I think we just needed to take it to the next step.
So it sounds like one of the things that you think is that it's mental. That's why people fail when they come up with these lofty goals. Is that what you would say?
Really, I really think making things happen is really about mental toughness. It's really about making a decision, but then sticking to the decision. Making it's not that tough. Sticking to it is another thing.
And that's what so much frustration goes to. So you have a couple tips. Let's go through the first ones, because I think these are fairly easy things, but we need to sometimes just remind ourselves that. And that's winning isn't everything, wanting to win is. I think that is actually a fine distinction, but it can really make a difference.
Sure, everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to be thinner, richer, happier, whatever, but the willingness to prepare to win, to prepare yourself in whatever you have to do, that's a whole nother level of desire, and I think that's really what we need to do.
And you actually know this because you used to be kind of on the professional athlete, so you see the difference between just saying you're wanting to win and actually putting in all that time, practice, effort.
Yeah, it's all the non-sexy stuff, the stuff where you're preparing, you're training, you're working before any result at all comes about. That's the life of a professional athlete. That's the life I lived for a long time, and so that's what it really takes to win, because they're good at sticking to their goals. Yeah.
So even if it's a smaller thing, like just saying I want to lose a few pounds, you still have to have that same attitude going into that.
If you're really serious about getting what you want, yeah. As soon as it's exciting New Year's Day, but then 2 weeks later, when you're sick of going to the gym and sick of dieting and all that, and eating the same foods and all the good stuff, then all of a sudden it wears off, and now you've got to go in for the endurance contest, and that takes mental toughness.
Mental toughness, I think, is also another thing with this other point, which is expect pain and suffering. That's a hard one for people to go, because I think that first frustration gets people, but you say that's part of it. There's going to be setbacks.
Yeah, there's the excitement phase, and then there's the phase a lot of athletes call the season of pain, which is, again, there's no fun there. It's just you're just trudging through it, trying to get through and stick to whatever goal you've set. And then you come up, once you go through the suffering stage, then you go through the results stage, and all of a sudden you're on the other side, and life is fantastic.
So you should expect that. You should know it's going to come and prepare yourself, because there's going to be bumps in the road. That's just part of it.
Yeah, people fight me on this a lot. They say, I don't want to suffer. I'm not willing to suffer. If you're not willing to suffer, you probably won't make a habit change, because changing habits they require suffering almost by definition, or it would be easy.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, but people get their emotions locked into it instead of their logic-based thinking.
And this is the last thing I want to focus on. Don't focus on how, but why. So when you do hit those obstacles, if you kind of re-go to, why did I make this resolution, will that help you think?
Yeah, logic makes good sense for strategy. It doesn't work so much in motivation. So we use logic for strategy, decision-making, in other words, and emotion for motivation. So find out the reasons. If you want to be thinner, for example, why do you want to be thinner? Or you want to make more money. Why is it emotionally that you're driven? We're primarily emotional creatures, and we need to motivate ourselves accordingly.
Well, hopefully people out there that made resolutions will take those simple tips and just keep going and push through, and maybe we can all be better throughout, not just this year, but always.
We can all do it.
All right. Thank you so much for that advice.